Hello Star Seekers, thank you for joining me in this video. Today we will be discussing the new moon in Aries on March 21st, around that time, depending on where you are in the world. And this is also the spring equinox. The sun moves into Aries, the moon moves into Aries, and there's a few other planets there, and they are making aspects with some other planets. So stay with me as we discuss the potentials of the new moon in Aries for you. Now, my usual disclaimer about which sign you should be watching. In order to know where this energy will be affecting you, you need to know which houses these particular signs fall into, specifically Aries for this new moon. Which house Aries falls into is determined by your rising sign, not your sun sign. Horoscopes are determined through rising signs. Your sun sign is very important when you're learning about your personality and how you shine in the world and where you show off. But when we're talking about predictive horoscopes, it is your rising sign that we are looking at in order to determine which house a sign falls into and therefore which area of life this energy will be felt in. So, with that said, let's get into this. Hello Virgo rising, thank you for joining me. Let's get right into this because we have a lot to talk about. So when we have a new moon, we have the moon and the sun on the same side of the earth, and in this instance they are in Aries, which is your 8th house. This is the house of shared resources, of intimate partnerships, of sex, of death and rebirth, and your soul, or deep soul exploration and analysis. Now, joining the sun and the moon in this very spiritual house is Mercury and Jupiter. So all these planets here in this 8th house, this can bring a strong desire for power and transformation, both personally and within others. This placement can indicate a success in finance and investments, as well as a need for deeper understanding of psychological and spiritual matters. Now, be aware that this can bring a tendency towards recklessness or risk-taking, especially in financial matters or intimate partnerships. This could lead to difficulties and even losses in both finances, shared finances, and partnership. Okay, now we also have Venus right next door. Whoops. Venus just moved into Taurus a few days before this new moon. Venus is the ruler of Taurus, so when it's there, the energy is harmonious and comfortable, not feeling challenged in any way. So with Venus here in your 9th house, this has been bringing an appreciation for beauty, pleasure, and luxury in your philosophical and spiritual pursuits, or your travel experiences, or higher education, or some kind of learning situation. This placement could indicate a desire for stability and security in your belief systems and in your quest for knowledge or higher education. Uranus is also over here in your 9th house in Taurus, and it has been there for a number of years. It will be there for a couple more. This has been bringing unexpected and sudden changes to your philosophical and spiritual beliefs, to your ability to travel, especially long distances. This has also been affecting your higher education or your ability to communicate your message to others. This placement can indicate a fascination with innovation or unconventional ideas relating to these areas of your life. This can show up as alternative spiritual practices or non-traditional approaches to education. Now together, Venus and Uranus in Taurus in your 9th house, this can result in a mix of both stable and unpredictable energies in the areas of philosophy and spirituality, travel, and higher education. This could manifest as a desire for pleasure and stability in these areas of your life, combined with a willingness to try new and unconventional approaches to these pursuits, to your education and your ability to travel. Saturn has just moved into Pisces here in your 7th house a few days before this new moon as well. Now this is bringing this sense of responsibility and commitment to your relationships. This is your house of relationships, unions, and partnerships. Now this could potentially lead to more stable and mature partnerships. However, this placement can also indicate challenges or delays in finding a suitable partner, as well as potential conflicts around boundaries and responsibilities in partnerships. Neptune over here is also joining Saturn in this 7th house, this house of relationships. Now, this is enhancing your compassion and your empathy within your relationships, but it's also leading to a bit of idealization or confusion, and there's a tendency towards codependency here if this energy is not balanced with a healthy sense of who you are as an individual. The sun and the moon over here in your 8th house are making a 90-degree angle to Mars, or a square to Mars, over here in Capricorn in your 5th house. Now, a note about Mars is moving into another house a few days after this, but during the full moon or the new moon, Mars will still be in Capricorn in this 5th house. Now with the sun and the moon over here in your 8th house, this has been bringing you an emphasis on your intimacy and your shared resources and personal transformation within that situation. This placement has been bringing your need to assert yourself in your financial and sexual partnerships, and it's showing you a desire to explore a deep psychological and spiritual matter within that intimate partnership. The square with Mars is creating tension between your need for personal transformation and your desire for your career success and recognition. And you may need to work on finding a balance between your personal growth and your professional ambitions. Now the sun and the moon are conjunct this Neptune right next door in the 7th house. So even though they're not in the same sign or the same house, they're close enough together in degree-wise to be considered conjunct. So that can potentially create a highly intuitive and imaginative approach on your part towards intimacy and partnerships. This placement can indicate a desire to connect with others on a much deeper level and a more spiritual level, and to use your creative talents to explore perhaps taboo or mysterious aspects of your life. The 8th house is about secrets and things that are not necessarily socially acceptable. So this could also bring challenges related to maintaining boundaries within your intimate partnerships and relationships, or with your business partnerships or other unions that you are part of. There's a tendency towards escapism or deception in these areas. So make sure that you aren't making any assumptions and that you're getting all the facts and you're not running away from things that you need to be responsible for. Okay, we have the sun moon over here in your 8th house. These are also making a 90-degree angle or a square to Mars. Mars is the tower. Mars is over here in Gemini in your 10th house. It has been there since about last summer, and it'll be there for a few more days before it moves on. But during this new moon, it's still there in your 10th house. So this is suggesting a strong emphasis on intimacy and shared resources and your transformation. But this placement can also indicate a need for you to assert yourself in your financial and sexual partnerships, and to really show your desire to explore your deep psychological or spiritual matters within those relationships. And the square aspect with Mars in the 10th house, this can create tension between your need for personal transformation and your desire for career and success and recognition. This 10th house is the house of public recognition and success, career, achievement. So you might need to work on finding a balance between your personal growth and your professional ambitions. The sun and the moon over here in the 8th house are also conjunct to this Neptune. Even though they're in different signs and different houses, they're both on either side of the border and within 5 degrees of each other, so they are considered conjunct. Now what this is doing is potentially creating a highly intuitive and imaginative approach to your intimacy and to your partnership situations. This placement can indicate a desire to connect with others on a deep spiritual level. It also is allowing you to use your creative talents to perhaps explore taboo or even mysterious aspects of your life or life in general. Now, be aware that this could be creating challenges relating to maintaining boundaries in your intimate relationships or with your business partnerships. And there's a tendency towards escapism or deception in these areas. So get all the facts, don't make assumptions, make sure that you know everything that you need to know before you jump to any conclusions. Now the sun and the moon over here are also making a sextile to Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto has been in Capricorn in your 5th house for a very long time. Pluto's been there since 2008. Just days after this new moon, Pluto will be moving into Aquarius. This is a huge, huge energy shift and a big deal for everyone. I will be doing a video about the Pluto movement specifically for your rising sign. There's too much to talk about in just this video. However, during the new moon, this new moon in Aries, Pluto is still in Capricorn. And if you're using whole sign houses, the whole sign house system, it is in your 5th house. So for the last almost 20 years, Pluto has been in Capricorn in your 5th house, and it has brought some intense transformative energy to your creativity and your self-expression as well as your personal passions. This placement indicates a desire to express yourself more boldly and more authentically, potentially leading to creative breakthroughs and passionate pursuits. Now, there could also have been a tendency towards obsessive or controlling behavior in these areas of your life when you did not channel this energy constructively. This has led to potential power struggles or conflicts. This Venus over here in your 9th house is also in a square with this Pluto. So this is a challenging aspect. And this has brought on, and is, well, now since Venus is in Taurus, this is bringing on a desire, a very strong desire for adventure and intellectual pursuits. There's a focus on exploring new experiences and new ideas. Now be aware that this placement with the square with Pluto over here in Capricorn in your 5th house, this can bring up some power struggles or hidden issues related to control and transformation within your creative and romantic pursuits. This could impact your ability to fully express yourself and to connect with others. It's very important that you confront and work through any underlying dynamics you have with your romance, creativity, creative expression in order to cultivate more authentic and fulfilling relationships and pursuits. Mars up here in your 10th house in Gemini, this is in a trine with Saturn over here in your 7th house. So this is the house of career and professional pursuits, and this is the house of relationships and unions. So with Mars and Gemini in your 10th house, this has been bringing you the energy to be highly communicative and versatile in your approach to your career and your public image. The trine with Saturn is bringing a harmonious balance between your ambitions and your partnerships. And there's a practical and disciplined approach to your negotiations and your contracts within your career and within your personal relationships. Now, this alignment could potentially bring success in fields such as journalism, public relations, or diplomacy. So take that in mind if you're experiencing a career change. Now, lastly, this Mars up here in Gemini is also making a square aspect to Neptune in your 6th house. So, in your 7th house. So what this is doing, this is suggesting a time when you are feeling highly ambitious and driven in your career with potential talent for communication, for writing, for networking. This alignment can also indicate a tendency towards confusion and idealization in your partnerships or relationships. The square between Mars and Neptune really challenges your ability to balance your career ambitions and your relationship goals. So this is going to require some considered effort on your part to cultivate practical relationships and partnerships and professional pursuits with clarity of communication. Okay, Virgo rising, I hope that helped. If that resonated with you, I'd love to hear in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.